And politics is a blood sport. So they're going to come up with whatever attacks they can to destroy the public perception of someone. And I assure you, the more you research it, the more you will see it is true.
The same things that we have been fighting for here, whether it be lawfare in South Korea or mass migration in Japan, this is a worldwide phenomenon. But the thing that was the most striking, and it connects with the news today in America, the thing that is the most incredible is what happens when you walk outside of your hotel in South Korea. I got up quite early the next day. I mean, your body clock gets all messed up in trips like this. So the fact I slept 7 hours and woke up at 5:30 local is like an accomplishment. Usually, if you're coming from America, you wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and you're all messed up. So I woke up at 5:30 and I said, I'm going to go get a cup of tea and go explore the city. And I did, by myself. And it was amazing. As soon as you walk out of the hotel, there's no people asking you for money. They don't really put up with graffiti at all. This is the streets of Seoul, South Korea. And I walked 6 miles all throughout downtown Seoul, South Korea.
Charlie Kirk asserts that you can create a society and a culture where you can get on a train or a subway and not get stabbed to death in the neck.
And it's a pretty amazing thing. Whether it be walking through public transportation, whether it be walking through public parks, everything is clean, orderly. They take pride and responsibility over their public spaces. In fact, Blake and I, one evening, Blake said, Charlie, I have to show you the subway station. I said, the subway station? I said, Blake, is that safe? And Blake chuckled. He said, safe? The whole country is safe. One of the aspects that I think that was so telling of the entire trip is that it shows that we in America have actually done the hard things. But it's the very simple things. It's not hard to solve. You just have to stand up to the Democrat, soft on, open prison reform nonsense. You need political willpower, to be perfectly honest with you. And far too often, we, as Americans, we put up with stuff we shouldn't. Now, the left say, well, laws are why Asia is so safe. Now, mind you, I'm not even getting into the fact that the no. How does the left then explain the no muggings, the no graffiti, the no homeless, and the no bums? How do you explain that?
Elon says it's all a relentless propaganda campaign. Politics has become a blood sport where narratives are weaponized and public life is fought in headlines and algorithms.
It's a relentless propaganda campaign, which obviously President Trump has experienced for a very long time, 20 years, maybe longer. And politics is a blood sport. So they're going to come up with whatever attacks they can to destroy the public perception of someone. Obviously, I've not harmed anyone in my life. It's an outrageous thing to claim that because the issue with was not their mannerisms or their choice of dress, but the fact that they these people. That's the issue. They've also called President Trump. There was one publication that said he's worse than that President Trump is worse than Hitler, Stalin, maybe Mao combined. And I guess that's what happens when you go after waste and fraud, because the people that are receiving the billions of dollars of waste and fraud want to keep receiving it. The people doing the bad things want to keep getting the money. And you're necessarily dealing with an unsavory group that is, since they're doing illegal things already and we're stopping them from doing illegal things, obviously they're going to do bad things to me and to my companies. Somewhat inevitable, I think.
Elon says he's disappointed by how easily propaganda takes hold, noting with frustration that so many people actually believe it without question.
But it is disappointing how well propaganda works.
Yeah.
If you repeat a lie, the sort of he's a lie enough times, some people actually believe it. especially people that still believe the legacy news. So if they still think that what CNN says, with the exception of Scott Jennings, is true, then they called me on CNN. So if someone believes CNN, then they would say, "Oh, he must be." That's because they said it on TV. The person on the TV said it. Well, it's not been boring, that's for sure. An eventful year, to say the least. At least I didn't get, look on the bright side. But we have had people shoot up Tesla stores and burn down Tesla cars. I wasn't expecting that level of violence, really. I mean, there's obviously been attempts to sort of boycott Tesla and my other companies and basically put whatever pressure they possibly can on me and Tesla and to some degree my other companies. I think it was essential for President Trump to win to ensure that America remained great, and that we reached greater heights. Really, some very basic things need to happen. We need to have, obviously, a secure border. We need to have safe cities. We need to have sensible spending. I think if President Trump had not won, I think the Democrat campaign to import vast numbers of illegal voters would have succeeded. And they would have naturalized vast numbers of illegals during the sort of Kamala regime. And they would have turned America into a one-party state from which we could never escape. Some people out there may be somewhat skeptical. They may think, well, that there isn't some Democrat plan to subvert democracy and achieve a permanent one-party, deep blue socialist state.
Elon assures you, the more you dig, the clearer it becomes how effectively left-wing propaganda manipulates public opinion.
I assure you, the more you research it, the more you will see it is true. Biden was simply asleep at the switch. He was ineffective regarding illegal immigration. No, he was highly effective at ushering in millions of illegal immigrants with a specific game plan to naturalize them and ensure that there would be no swing states in America anymore. Often the margin of victory there will be 20 or 30,000 votes. So if you bring in 200,000 illegals, which will overwhelmingly vote for the Democrats, then that swing state becomes permanently blue. But there were sort of, I just had like an uneasy feeling. Like something doesn't feel right here. The censorship was becoming ridiculous. I had the most interacted with account on Twitter before the acquisition. So I was very finely attuned to what the algorithm was showing me or not showing me, and who got suspended or didn't get suspended. Twitter was being run at a very far left basis. When I felt the censorship walls closing in, I was like, okay, I got to do something, and the thing I could do is acquire Twitter and make it a bastion of free speech. And that's what we're trying to do with Twitter. Like, no one on the left has been suspended, but we did unsuspend people on the right. And let the marketplace of ideas win. And then once we unlocked Twitter from being censored, then we started to see what was really going on. And I became increasingly concerned. I'm like, wait a second, I'm seeing videos of people streaming across the border on Twitter, now X. I'm like, and I was like, is this real? So I said, well, I'll go to the border myself. So I went to Eagle Pass, Texas, and sure enough, people streaming across the border. And I was like, so is there any vetting of these people? Like, no, the Biden administration is letting them all in. And I said, well, but some of these people clearly have criminal affiliations. Like they literally have the affiliation tattooed on their face. The left is kind to the and cruel to the victims, which is not empathy at the end of the day. If you're a high trust society and you bring in low trust or untrustworthy individuals, that's now you've got a fundamental breakdown in the system. I supported Obama. I gave the maximum donation to Obama. Actually, we had a pretty good relationship. When Biden was elected out, I guess most moderates that I knew, they thought it would be like a milquetoast version of Obama. And then it's like we get the most radical left, crazy administration ever.
People are so divided in this country. So divided, and there's so many people that love it. No one deserves this, folks. No one that has different opinions. No one deserves that.
No.
This is horrible.
Joe Rogan leaked shocking details about Charlie Kirk and the shootings, pulling back the curtain on truths the establishment would rather keep buried.
So this just happened. We just found out that Charlie Kirk got...
It's awful.
And is he...
No, I don't think so. I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that said confirmed.
For having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
Beliefs that didn't
who
align.
did it or...
Yeah.
I'm
He's
sorry?
dead.
Yep.
Rest in peace. Jesus. 27 years old, maybe? 30?
Do they even have a suspect?
I don't know. Well, that's why I'm literally trying to track it all on Twitter, and it's all...
Nobody deserves it. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
So were you saying that MSNBC had a crazy take on it?
Mm-hmm.
What was their take?
Joe Rogan points out that crowds often fire guns into the air at massive gatherings, seeing it as festivity while ignoring the risk.
But why does something like that have to be spun?
Their ideology.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's like...
I mean, they want to try to pin it on a Trump supporter with
Of course.
a crazy Trump supporter with
right,
going
of course.
wacky.
Of course.
We don't know if it was a supporter off in celebration, because they do.
Right,
that.
right, right,
A lot
yeah.
of folks are just
Of course, yeah.
constantly out there off at large
Of course.
gatherings in celebration.
Yeah, 4th of July, you can't leave your house. you
What
know?
the?
No, that is... That's a... Wow.
There's going to be a lot of people celebrating this. It's so scary. It's so dangerous too to celebrate or to in any way encourage this kind of behavior from human beings. He's not a violent guy who's talking to people on college campuses. Wasn't even particularly rude. Who's tried to be pretty reasonable with people.
Everything I saw seemed reasonable.
He's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or don't. And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with him on. That's
Sure.
fine.
Sure.
Joe insists that disagreement is natural, even healthy, but it should never turn into celebrating when someone gets shot. That kind of reaction, he says, reveals a sickness deeper than politics.
You're allowed to disagree with people without
Right.
celebrating the fact they got...
But you can't disrespect his passion.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
what you're supposed to do with a guy like that, if you're opposing him, is debate him.
Right.
Have a conversation where your argument is more compelling than his.
Sure.
That's what people should be celebrating, discourse. We used to do that.
Do some homework and bring it to
Yeah.
the table.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
know?
horrible. It's horrible. This podcast
Fuck.
has been a lot about violence, man.
It has,
Yeah.
but not this kind.
No.
I'm sorry, not something is so in the moment right now from
Yeah.
someone this current
Yeah.
that we see and are aware of daily. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those young influencers, right? This time from the right, who is all over social media, always doing these various shows and debating people and talking to people and giving speeches and
Sure.
yeah. No one deserves this, folks. No one that has different opinions. No one deserves that.
No.
This is horrible.
No.
But I know people are going to celebrate it because this is a f***ed up time and people have really fallen into this trap of us against them.
But it's also going to make people not want to be as courageous or not want to be as forthright with the things they believe. It's going to put people on guard.
It could. It could also could.
It could do the opposite.
Yeah.
I get that, but there's also going to be that sort of
Self-preservation.
ingrained thing now.
You're correct. Yeah.
Joe Rogan brings up the assassinations of public figures, JFK in the past, Trump facing attempts in the present, and even talk surrounding Kirk.
And you know, and you just go, you know, going through the whole New York thing. I just, you know, sometimes you know, there's a crowd and it's all love. It's all love, and all they want is, you know, is your signature or a photo or this and that. But there's so much of those moments where you're spent looking down. Mm-hmm. You're looking down the entire time.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody wants. I don't think that's kind of out in the world, right?
No.
But it's the type of that just lives in the back of one's mind.
Yeah.
Because how could it not?
How could it not?
And then the thing like today, and you're like, okay, that's why it's in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's, you know, when we were talking about earlier, whether it's Kennedy or RFK or, you know, you think of him in the past, you think of him like, you don't, when something happens in the current, like right now with this one with Charlie Kirk, it doesn't seem real.
No.
It seems very surreal.
It does. It does.
Seems like
it does.
It's going to take a long time before we reference this as something that happened. Like remember he got, oh yeah. Like right now, it just doesn't seem real. It seems so crazy that it's not registering.
It's not, no.
People are torn in half in this country, and yet there's a whole crowd that thrives on the chaos, almost loving the division itself.
It's a f***ed up time. People are so divided in this country. They're so divided, and there's so many people that love it. They love that we're divided, and they profit off that division, and they stoke the fires, and they do it for their own profit, and it's so gross. It's so gross. And to encourage this kind of thing is really one of the most horrific things that you could do after someone horribly like this is celebrate. It should be a wake-up call for everybody. Like, this is nuts. This is nuts.
No, it's unforgivable that to spend things like that, and because the people they're never thinking about is that person's family.
Joe says most people aren't monsters. They're conditioned to default to the gaslight, especially as the country reels from the Charlie Kirk shooting and outrage gets shaped into the new normal.
I think they're just, that's just like default with those. They gaslight you by default.
Right.
So immediately they try to find some reason why whatever the thing is that's in the news is someone else's fault.
Right, of course.
It's just all gaslighting. And that's what they're paid to do. They're paid propagandists masquerading as the news. So weird.
No, it's a dark day.
Yeah. It is. Well, one of two things is going to happen. Either people are going to realize how insane this is, and we have to have a conversation about being able to have conversations.
Right.
Or it's going to get a lot worse. That's what's scary. Scary, this could spark off some kind of a real violent conflict. You know, that guy had a lot of fans.
Yeah.
A lot of people love that guy.
Yeah, I know.
And if they find out that he got for something that they vehemently oppose in the first place, it could send people over the edge.
It could, yeah. There's always that flashpoint moment in any, you know, in previous times like this.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
There's always that tipping point moment.
Like the Rodney King film.
Yep.
Right. Something just like that's it.
Yeah. You know, this also highlights just a little bit of perspective, like how lucky Trump was.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's just like Charlie didn't get the benefit of a head turn or a couple of microns or millimeters or you know, and it's just like wow, who decides that?
Yeah.
You know, that is just, man, there's this
the Trump thing is bananas.
Yeah. But they talk about
clips his ear.
Yeah. Because he makes a reference to something.
Yeah.
And then it's just,
And then it clips his ear. Where if he didn't turn his head, he'd be. And it would have been on live on CNN.